Hello everyone. Welcome to this session on Introduction to Organization Behavior. I am Dr. Kiran Kakade and I will take you to this exciting journey of organizational behavior in which we are going to understand how individuals and groups interact within organization. Before we begin, let me share a bit about myself. With over 15 years of academic experience and a diverse educational background, I bring a multidisciplinary approach to the subject. I hold PhD in Management Science and post-graduation degree in HR, Law and Computer Science. My professional journey includes academic and industrial experience, which has helped me to develop expertise in ERP consultation, team management, and even yoga instructor. This diversity reflects my belief that learning is a lifelong process. Refer to the quote by Walt Disney. You can dream, create, design and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it requires a people to make the dream a reality. This perfectly encapsulates the essence of organizational behavior, which focuses on the people. Let's start with the first question. What is meant by organizational behavior? So we'll start with the definition of organization. In general terms, we call organization is a collection of people who work together and coordinate their actions to achieve individual and organizational goals. Organizational behavior can be defined as understanding, prediction, and management of human behavior in organization. This quote is given by Luthans. Now we are talking about what is meant by organizational behavior. As organizational behavior is the study of how people act individually and in organizational and at groups. It helps us to understand, predict, and manage human behavior to achieve both individual and organizational goals. For instance, imagine a team working on a project. Organizational behavior explores questions like what motivates team members, how do their behavior impact productivity, and how can we foster collaboration. Think about a time when you work in a group. What behaviors contributes to the group success or challenges? I want your thought on this. This will be an assignment as a discussion to understand organizational behavior as a group task. Now, second, organizational behavior is what people do in organization, how their behavior affects the overall performance of the organization. Behavior related to the concerns such as absenteeism, turnover, productivity, etc. include the core or all works determinants like motivation, leadership, power, politics and conflict, etc. Next question comes in our mind. What is the goals of organizational behavior? The goals of organizational behavior can be summarized as understanding, predicting and controlling human behavior in organizations. Let's have an example. Understanding why employees feel demotivated can help managers predict their actions and implement strategies to boost morale. This directly impacts the key concerns like absenteeism, turnover, and productivity. Notice the highlighted goals on the slides. These are the foundation for creating effective organizational strategies. Next questions like organizational behavior works at 3 levels. We can understand this with the pyramid. OB operates on 3 levels like individual, groups and organizational levels. Let's understand one by one. At the individual level, we study personality, perception and stress. At the group level, we examine teamwork, power dynamics and decision making. And at the organizational level, we explore culture, structure and change. Understanding this dimension helps us create holistic strategies for managing people. Example, consider a company undergoing a major restructuring. Organization principles guide leaders in addressing employee concerns, fostering teamwork, and maintaining productivity during the transitions. Now, we'll just go through the historical background of organizational behavior. The field of organizational behavior owes much to the Hawthorne Studies conducted in 1920s and 1930s. These experiments revealed that productivity is not solely influenced by physical factors like lightning, but also by a social and psychological aspects. This background, or we can say a groundbreaking realization, shaped modern management practices. Why do you think employee morale and group dynamics are as important as technical skills in achieving organizational success? I want your insight on this, but we need to think at deeper level. Professor Elton Mayo stated a series. He done various experiments and studies. In his experiments, he covers redesign of jobs, change in the length of the workday, time, introduction of rest period, and individuals versus group pay plans. Hawthorne Studies set the direction of organizational behavior and management practices. Let's talk about various disciplines which contributes to the organizational behavior field. We categorize these fields in two categories, from micro to macro. Micro considered as the individual level and macro considered as group and organizational level. In micro field, the psychology and social psychology plays an important role. And in macro field, which we are talking about groups and organizational level, the sociology and anthropology plays an important role. Let's talk about one by one. First, psychology. Psychology is nothing but the science that seeks to measure, explain, and sometimes change the behavior of the human and other animal. Psychology at individual level plays an important role in organizational behavior context. For example, learning, motivation, personality, emotions, perceptions, training, leadership effectiveness. So these are the examples where psychology plays an important role at individual level. Next, sociology. Sociology is the study of the people in relation to their fellow human being. This field contributes in organizational behavior in two aspects, at group level and at formal organizational level. Let's see the example. At group level, for example, like group dynamics, work team, communication, power, conflict, and intergroup behavior. And at organizational level, we can say the formal organization, organizational technology, organizational change, and organizational culture. Third, social psychology. Social psychology is the area within psychology that blends concepts from psychology and sociology and that focuses on the influence of the people on one another. Social psychology relates at group level. For example, behavioral change, attitude change, communication, group processes, group decision making. And at last, anthropology. Anthropology, the study of societies to learn about human beings and their activities. It acts as a unit of analysis like organizational system, and contribution to OB is organizational culture, organizational environment, comparative values, comparative attitudes, and cross-culture analysis. So in this way, these four fields directly contributes to the organizational behavior concept. Let's talk about the objective of organizational behavior. The main objective of organizational behavior is to understand the human interaction in an organization, find what is driving it and influence it for getting a better result for attaining business goal. So in short, to increase employee happiness. So next slide talks about the importance of organizational behavior. So it is very important to study organizational behavior because it provides an understanding of why people behave as they do in organization. Organizational behavior helps us to study the complex nature of human beings in organization by identifying causes and effect of behavior. Studying organizational behavior is crucial for understanding the complex nature of human behavior in organizations. It helps managers predict and control behavior, utilize human resources effectively, and create a positive work environment. For instance, knowledge of organizational behavior enables managers to design motivational strategies tailored to the individual needs. Example, a manager noticing high absenteeism might use of OB principles to identify underlying issues and implement solutions like flexible work arrangement or hybrid work culture, which helps to manager to handle this situation. In conclusion, organizational behavior provides the tools to understand, predict, and influence human behavior in organizations. It's a vital field for anyone aspiring to be an effective manager or leader. As we continue this course, we'll delve deeper into the topics with a related field like perception, values, and attitude. We'll see next lecture about perception. Thank you.